At the dawn of the industrial age, a new creature rose from smoke and steel. It had no heartbeat, no conscience, no nation, only profit. To millions of Americans, it looked like a monster, crushing workers, corrupting politics, and devouring competitors. And yet, within a generation, that same creature would be welcomed into homes, praised as patriotic, even called benevolent. How did the monster acquire a soul? Here lies the paradox. The reality: ruthless monopolies, labor violence, corruption at the highest levels. The perception: friendly corporations, job creators, pillars of community, stewards of prosperity. The question that haunted the age: how did cutthroat monopolies convince America to love them? The transformation began not in factories, but in the courts. In 1886, in Santa Clara County versus Southern Pacific Railroad, corporations were quietly granted the protections of the 14th Amendment, an amendment written to secure the rights of formerly enslaved human beings, now extended to legal entities. The result? Rights without conscience, immortality without mortality, power without moral accountability. The creature had legal personhood. With legal armor secured, consolidation accelerated. Oil, steel, rail. A handful of men came to dominate entire industries. "The public be damned," declared William Vanderbilt. To many Americans, property had become master instead of servant. And fear spread. Public outrage exploded. Muckraking journalists exposed corruption. Magazines detailed monopolistic abuses. Citizens warned that corporations were becoming greater than the state itself. Democracy felt compromised. The threat was existential. And big business realized something critical. Brute force alone would not save them. They would need something more powerful. They would need persuasion. Then came Ludlow. Rockefeller owned Colorado Fuel and iron-faced striking miners. What followed was violence. Women and children were killed when tents were set ablaze. The backlash was devastating. Headlines condemned Rockefeller nationwide. The lesson was unmistakable. Brute force was obsolete. Survival required a new strategy. Into the crisis stepped a new kind of specialist. Ivy Lee, one of the fathers of modern public relations. His philosophy was simple. Tell the truth, because sooner or later the public will find out anyway. But truth, carefully staged, could be shaped. Lee would not defend the monopoly. He would humanize the man. Rockefeller the predator became Rockefeller the grandfather. He visited mines, shook hands with workers, handed out dimes to children. The narrative shifted. The man was separated from the monopoly. The titan became a philanthropist. The monster was given a face. This wasn't improvisation. It was strategy. First, transform robber barons into philanthropists for libraries, universities, or medicine. Second, recast the corporation as a benevolent giant, a public steward. Third, fuse business with patriotism. To question monopoly would soon feel like questioning America itself. Take AT&T, a hated monopoly facing possible nationalization. The solution: universal service. The monopoly reframed as efficiency. Institutional advertising was born, not to sell products, but to sell philosophy. The corporation began speaking directly to the public mind. Public opinion itself became an industrial product. When labor strikes erupted, companies followed a formula: label leaders as radicals, form citizens' committees, declare themselves defenders of law and order, win not by force, but by narrative, strike broken by public opinion. The National Association of Manufacturers expanded the campaign. The mission shifted, no longer merely defend the product, defend the system. Capitalism itself had to become synonymous with freedom, with democracy, with patriotism. Billions were spent. Advertisements, world's fairs, school materials. The message echoed everywhere. What is good for business is good for America. Free enterprise became not just an economic structure, but a moral identity. The strategy evolved. Don't just respond to criticism. Control the source, dominate wire services, shape textbooks, filter information upstream, engineer the news feed, shape the mind before it votes. Textbooks were reviewed, language revised, references to class conflict and corporate corruption quietly removed. A generation was educated to see the corporate order not as constructed, but as natural, inevitable, benevolent. Frankenstein's monster was not destroyed. It was refined, polished, given the appearance of a soul. Power was not dispersed, it was consolidated, hidden behind a curtain of benevolence. The most enduring institutions are not those that control markets, but those that control meaning. This transformation was not accidental. It is documented in archival records, in congressional testimony, in the history of public relations itself. The monster lives, but now you know how it learned to smile.